Guys, what's up? What's going on? Yeah, Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Another episode of the Tennis Mindset Project. Today's message is about the comfort zone that we tend to get in, and and we just start to kind of think, well, I know I should be doing this with my technique. I should be changing something there, right? On a certain shot, right? I should be thinking more about how do I handle this kind of player. Maybe it's more of a pusher, or maybe it's something else. How do I go out there and actually schedule a match, a practice match with someone who I know is going to kick my butt, right? Getting out of your comfort zone to get your butt kicked out there from time to time, right? Maybe it's more fitness and nutrition, knowing that, God dang it, I need to drop 15 pounds if I'm really serious about competing and either playing tournaments or playing leagues or whatever, or just trying to get better. And so I think what happens is we get lulled into this concern that if we go do these things that we know we should do if we want to get better, but we know it's going to be uncomfortable, right? It's not going to feel great. And so a lot of it is, I think, a lot of players worry that if they get out of their comfort zone with whatever that I just mentioned, is that, God dang it, are they going to screw up what they've already got? Are they going to somehow regress from where they're at right now? And the answer is probably for a while you will, right? I mean, if you go out and you work on some different kind of technique, even if it's what Tom Stowe used to work with me on a lot, which was, hey, you don't need that little flare there at the top of your forehand prep. We got to get rid of that, right? So it was more for me about paring away, taking away stuff rather than adding. And so for me, for a while, that was uncomfortable. And I was thinking about it so much when I would not only drill, but then go out and play some practice points or a practice set that because there's so much conscious thinking about either doing something extra or not doing something, it gets uncomfortable. And or maybe it's like I just said, you go out there and you know what? I know I need to see what that next level up is all about in that player who I know plays at that level. And they've actually asked me before, hey, anytime you want to play, let's go do it. But you know you're going to get your ass kicked in this practice thing, right? So that gets us out of that comfortable feeling of being able to practice someone or play with someone. We know that we're not going to look bad. And that's sort of the perception, is that if I go play this guy that's going to kick my butt, how bad am I going to look? How bad am I going to feel? How uncomfortable is that going to be? And yet, if you think about it, if you did what I talked about before with the technique, if you really consciously work on something, even though it's uncomfortable, if you go out there and schedule a match, a practice match with someone who's probably going to beat you 1-1 or 0-1 or something like that, how uncomfortable is that going to be? Or something like fitness. Are you going to run your sprints today? Even though it's going to be painful, it's not going to be great, or maybe you're going to abstain from that second pour, whatever, drop those 15 pounds, going to be uncomfortable, right? But in your heart of hearts that if you do those things, eventually over time, things are going to get better. You're actually going to reap the rewards of being uncomfortable. So look, I don't know how else to fire you up to sort of zero in on maybe what's that one thing that you know that if you got uncomfortable with it right now, that if you just spent some time with it, eventually you wouldn't be uncomfortable, right? Eventually that would become your new comfort zone. And I think there's a real problem for me, not a problem, but a real concern for me sometimes when I go, oh man, I've been real comfortable at this level, whatever I'm doing, for too long. I need to start doing something. Maybe I need to go get coached, right? And I do this a lot. I mean, I go out and I'll hire someone who I think can take a look at my game, or someone who, whether it's technique wise or whether it's mental or whether it's fitness wise, go to a trainer, someone who knows something about tennis who's specific there. But I'll go and get uncomfortable, right? And right now, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of a couple of guys. I'm thinking of a coach who I go see from time to time. Man, it's not the greatest in terms of when he's working me over, in terms of this thing you do. man, it's just screwing you up. It's making you inconsistent with that one shot choice in this one situation. Let's do this instead. And we go through the drill. He's got the basket of balls out there. He's feeding me, feeding me. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. And then eventually it just starts to settle in and you figure it out. So look, there's a lot of benefit from getting uncomfortable, a lot of benefit, and you just got to go through it. That's all I can tell you. I don't have any magic words for it. There's no magic pill. There's no magic bullet, whatever we want to call it. You just got to do it. The first step is to figure out in your game what would be an area that you know that you've been sitting around not taking care of, just being comfortable with. You know that you need to address that number one situation. And look, you could find number one situations in different parts of your game. Don't go do the whole thing all at once, right? Don't go work on technique, then go work on tactics, then go work on diet and fitness, then work on the mental stuff all at the same time. Pick out one thing. If you want some help with that, look, I do offer a complimentary, a free 15-minute call, one-on-one private, no charge. And it's really there just to help you sort of let's chat and then let's zero in what might be that number one thing right now that you could get uncomfortable with, along with giving you a little game plan, right? A little practice plan. Let's get uncomfortable by doing this thing. And if you want, I'll be your accountability guy, right? You can send me a text or an email once a week for a while after we chat for that free 15-minute call and just stay in touch. All right, guys, look, in the meantime, look, there's two links down below. Number one is if you've not yet signed up for my free 9-minute video on the between points routine that I go through. It's 4 parts between points routine that's made an enormous difference in my game. Mental toughness is kind of the generic term for it, but it's real. And what we do between points, which is 80% on average of the match, only 20% of the time we actually play in points. If you manage that 80% of the match really well, you tend to consistently play at the top of your current skill level over and over during the other 20% of the match. The points, right? Down below, there's a link for that. I'm also going to put in that free 15-minute call link as well, where you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. Again, no obligation, totally free. It's on me. And in this case, let's zero in on that one thing that you could get uncomfortable with right now with your game, that if you stuck with it long enough, and again, I'm here to be your accountability guy in terms of helping you stick with it long enough so that you really make a significant change in your game. We can work on that. That link is also down below. Guys, that's it for me today. Hope this has been helpful. As always, we got to get out there. We got to help someone else. Have a great day, guys. See you again next time. Guys, it is Brent back here with you. And look, there's an 80-20 reality when we play matches. 80% of the time we're not playing points. On average, only about 20% of the time during a match are we actually playing points. And if you don't manage the other 80% of the time, which is between points and on side changes, if you don't manage that really well, you tend to be all over the map with the mental part of the game during the points. So look, I got a free video for you. And what it's going to show you is my exact 4 parts between points system, between points routine that I go through in all my matches that really helps me play consistently at the top of my skill level. Right down below, I want you to pick up this video if you have not yet done so. There is a link that will take you over to a web page. All you got to do is drop in a first name and email address, and you will get immediate access to that free 9-minute video. Guys, right down below, click that link and you can get inside of it right away.